Hey guys, Furrier22 here, and welcome back to another segment of At the Movies. Now, I just got back from seeing the first 2D animated film from Disney since 2004's Home on the Range, and yes, I'm talking about The Princess and the Frog. Now, this movie was actually another one of my most anticipated films of 2009 to see, and especially with Disney harking back to their 2D traditional animated films, I had to go see this. So hearing all the buzz and seeing the promotional stills and then the teasers and the trailers for it just kind of upped the ante and just kept creating my interest and my intriguement just kind of deepened as the months went on. So finally, December 11th, 2009, I came early this afternoon to go check it out, and I just got back from it, so I'm going to give you guys my review of the film. Now, first and foremost, the directors on this film are Ron Clements and John Musker, who have been, who are very familiar to the Disney family. They gave such classics as The Little Mermaid and Aladdin. So with those credentials, on their resumes already, you can already see that Disney was already trying really hard to harken back to those really great classic two-dimensional films that, made Disney the staple that they were in the late 80s into the early 90s. So right off the bat, you know that you're definitely going to be getting something unique, visually entertaining, and just really, really engaging from them. Now, the story is set in a Jazz Age era in New Orleans, dealing with a black African-American female by the name of Tiana, and she comes from a really hard-working family, and her whole life she just wants to follow in her father's footsteps and kind of, see their dream kind of come to fruition by opening up a restaurant. So as time goes on, she grows up and she is working really hard, maintaining 2 jobs to save up all the money to open up her own restaurant, Tiana's Place. And it isn't until a chance encounter with a prince that had been transformed into a frog at the hands of some voodoo doctor that Tiana is kind of, comes all along and is involved in an adventure where she has to bring not only herself but the prince back into human form after, being transformed into frogs. So that's the basic gist as to what you're getting in this film, and I have to say, I am beyond pleased. The viewing experience for this film, I don't even know if I can actually sum it up in this review. It was just amazing. This film was so utterly incredible. It's really, really just hard to express just how great it was. Visually speaking, the film was unbelievable. I mean, it was just a 2D animation dream come true. I mean, the colors in it were amazing. The backgrounds, stunning. Everything about it was just great. I just could not, it was almost overwhelming seeing all the beautiful colors and just everything come together as scene and scene unfolded. Just everything was so spot on and just visually amazing in this film. I mean, my first feeling at once the lights came up and this film ended was, I really hope that this movie does as well financially as it does, because I want to see Disney continuing this track of going back to their roots of doing, 2D animated films, because it was just, walking into that film and just seeing, obviously the Walt Disney Pictures logo come up, but then followed up seeing the Walt Disney's Animation Studio logo came up, just made me feel so great, and seeing that Disney was really harking back to what made them so great in the first place. It's that traditional 2D animation. And this film, I'm going out on a limb, and I'm going to say that this easily is going to become an instant classic. It has already become an instant classic in my book, and I only saw it 20 minutes ago. Just everything was just so amazing about it. I mean, the animation was just so unbelievable. I mean, if you were really, yearning to see the next great Aladdin, the next great Little Mermaid, the next great Pinocchio, look no further than The Princess and the Frog, because that's exactly what you're getting when you see this, because everything about it was just simply amazing. Now, moving on to the cast, you get a cast of, relatively people that aren't household names, voicing the people, such as the woman that voiced Tiana, Anika Noni Rose. That's not really a traditional name, but she's no stranger to the business, but she does voice the lead character in this film. In addition, you get some great talents by Keith David, who many of you guys would remember from They Live. And he plays the voodoo witch doctor, and he is fucking awesome. He's like one of the greatest Disney villains that I've ever seen. Just so cool, just so visually stunning, just a very intriguing guy. I mean, his visual appearance with this top hat with the skull on it, and this really, this these really deceiving purple eyes and this gap in between his tooth and this rail-thin, structure. He's just really amazing. I mean, he was one of the coolest aspects of this film. I really, really dug him. In addition, you also get the likes of John Goodman, who is also no stranger to the Disney family by lending his voice uses in 2001's Monsters, Inc. And then, of course, you also get Oprah Winfrey and Terrence Howard rounding out the cast. So, with a cast like that, everybody really shines in each of their respective roles, and everybody is just really, really spot on, just really, really great. Now, jumping back to the story is a very intriguing one and a really unique one, and the setting of New Orleans is, I think, what really makes this film as stunning as it could be. I mean, just, taking a great place and setting it in the time that they did during the Jazz Age era just really, really, heightens the atmosphere and the spirit of this film. You just get so much excitement and so much love and fun packed into every single scene. I mean, it is just a visual, accomplishment to just see what these terrific animators did in The Princess and the Frog. I could not be, frankly, I want to go see the film again because of just everything that was done in that film. I mean, just the backgrounds and the colors, it's just so goddamn overwhelming. There's not one bone in my body or, any sign of doubt or, disappointment whatsoever after seeing this film. The humor in this film is just so funny. I mean, there were so many moments throughout the entire film that I was snickering or just, outright laughing at the film, unloading. And it was just hilarious. I mean, every character just really brings something really comedic and humorous as the story goes on. So that's another thing that Disney does really well, is making a really well-told story with nothing, told with nothing but heart and true sincerity, but they always know how to pack on really marvelous humor that's fun for the entire family. Furthermore, the one thing that I would like to spot out is that all of this is, a return to Disney and, their 2D traditional animating film styles. It's also a return to the really classic old school style of the song and dance films that, Disney have been so well known for. I mean, there's just some really, really marvelous sing-along dances accompanied by just really, really phenomenal dance numbers and just really, great animation and crazy, dazzling things happening in each of the dance numbers. So every time, I feel like some people might get, a bit of a bore out of seeing the songs and they just want to see the story progress and stuff like that, but every single song in this film only added to the pure joy that you're seeing as you're watching The Princess and the Frog. So every song and dance number that, you have, the pleasure of viewing in this film is all totally worth it. You are not disappointed at all by this. So, all that said, guys, what are you doing wasting your time listening to Frightener 22 telling you about how good The Princess and the Frog is? Get your fucking ass up and go see that movie at your local theater right now, because I can tell you it is an instant classic for Frightener 22. Frightener 22 completely gives it the 2 thumbs up in his book, and I stress everybody go out and, support The Princess and the Frog in hopes that Disney continues, unrolling more traditional 2D animated films. Just a really, really stunning visual achievement, and, it's wonderful to see a brand new princess welcomed into the Disney kingdom, especially one as great as Princess Tiana. So I know little girls across the country will not be disappointed with Princess Tiana. Just this whole story in the film is wonderful. Just an absolute stunning achievement. Do not miss it in theaters. Absolutely do not. Well, that wraps up this segment of At the Movies. Thanks again for tuning in, guys. And I would like to send you guys a little reminder that this Saturday, I'm welcoming you guys back to another segment of Frightener 22's Saturday Night Movie Drive-In. And as indicated in the first episode, this week is actually going to be a fan request week. The requests came in, somebody got to me first, threw in their request, and I did take it into consideration, and I am reviewing it this Saturday, so be sure to tune in this Saturday and watch and see what the review actually was and hear my thoughts and opinions on it. So, as always, guys, thanks again for tuning in, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you guys on Saturday. Thanks again.